All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a choice every single leader has to make. And look, this isn't just about your next project plan. This is a choice that defines who you are, what you build, and your entire way of being. We're going to break down two fundamental leadership archetypes, the healer and the trailblazer.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll stand at that fork in the road every leader eventually finds. Then, we're going to walk down the well-worn path of the healer before we gear up for the steep, tough climb of the trailblazer. Along the way, we'll have to face some inner dragons that get in the way of real creation. And all of this leads to the big one, the strategic choice that you have to make.
You know, every leader finds themselves at this fork in the road. But again, this is so much bigger than just picking a strategy. It's a fundamental wager. It's a choice that defines your entire leadership identity. Are you going to be a force for comfort, for putting things back the way they were? Or are you going to be a force for creating something the world has never seen before?
And that's not just some philosophical question to ponder over coffee. No, this is a real strategic choice. It's a decision between two very powerful, very different stories about what success even looks like. And the path you choose has massive consequences for you and for everyone you lead.
So, what are the options? Well, on one side, you've got the comfortable circle. It's the path of restoration, it's well-trodden, it feels safe, everyone knows it. And on the other side, you've got the steep ascent. It's a climb. It's often lonely, maybe even a little dangerous. And it's all about forging a path towards something completely new.
So, which path do most people take? Often, without even thinking about it, we take the default path. It's the one our culture just loves to celebrate, the noble, heroic journey of the healer.
The healer archetype is basically the classic hero's journey we've seen in 1,000 movies. It's a script we all know by heart. The goal is to fix what's broken, manage a crisis, and just get everything back to normal, back to a predictable, stable state.
And what's absolutely crucial to understand here is that this journey is a circle. You can see it right here. Some crisis happens, the leader is called away to deal with it, they face some trials, and then they come back with the solution, the elixir, that restores the old order. The goal always is to get right back to where you started.
But here's where the critique gets really sharp. The source material for this analysis argues that this whole heroic journey, it's actually just a recipe for comfort. And it's designed for people who are, deep down, afraid of real, messy, disruptive change. This path, the healer's path, ultimately becomes a strategic trap. It's described as saccharine poison. Why? Because it tastes sweet. It feels like success. You get celebrated for it. But underneath, it's slowly, quietly killing the spirit of invention. By only rewarding the people who protect the status quo, you make it basically impossible for anything revolutionary to ever happen.
Okay, so let's shift gears and look at the alternative. This is the demanding, but absolutely necessary, path of the trailblazer.
Now, unlike the healer, the trailblazer is not here to fix things. They have zero interest in restoring the old world. Their job is to shatter old ways of thinking and create entirely new meaning, new value.
And their journey doesn't start because of some crisis out in the world. No, it starts with a decision inside themselves, a conscious act of rebellion. It's a rejection of what's called the marketplace mindset, that passive desire for comfort, for safety, for an easy life. You have to turn your back on easy.
So here's the absolute key difference. The battlefield completely shifts. For the healer, the enemy is out there, a bad market, a failed project. For the trailblazer, the enemy is in here. It's an internal war against their own resignation, their own complacency, their own fear.
And to actually succeed on this steep ascent, the trailblazer has to identify, confront, and ultimately conquer three very specific inner enemies, or inner dragons.
And this chart lays them out perfectly. First up is the shadow. That's that little voice inside your head whispering, hey, just take the easy way out. Then there's the soothsayer. This is the external voice, the cynic, the person who tells you, why bother? It's all pointless anyway. And finally, the big one, the spirit of gravity. This is that internal, soul-crushing weight of futility itself.
But if you can conquer these forces, you reach a kind of peak. It's a moment of incredible clarity and self-mastery called the Great Midday. And it's at this point that a new, totally integrated kind of leader is born. And at this peak, you face another choice. Are you going to be a moon, just passively reflecting the light and values of other people?
always needing their validation, or are you going to become a sun, a source of your own light, your own value, your own truth?
This new creator then brings together two essential qualities. They combine the soaring vision and high aspirations of the eagle with the grounded, practical, cunning wisdom of the serpent. It's about having huge dreams, but also having the street smarts to actually make them happen.
And this integration leads to a pretty profound transformation. The leader who is burdened by that spirit of gravity finally sheds it and becomes the dancer, a figure who moves with total creative freedom, with a sense of lightness and even joyful power. And that brings us right back to where we started, that fork in the road. It's the strategic choice that you, as a leader, now have to consciously, deliberately make.
Here's the choice, laid out plain and simple. The healer's path is a circle. The goal is to restore balance. The enemy is an external crisis. The outcome? A safe return to the herd. The trailblazer's path is an ascent. The goal is to create new values. The enemy? That internal spirit of gravity. And the outcome isn't a destination. It's a state of perpetual becoming, of always growing. So, this really all boils down to one final provocative question about what your leadership is for. It's a choice every one of us has to make. Are you going to be a celebrated guardian of the past, or are you going to dare to create the future?